What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. We're back once again for my team. Apologies about the break between episodes. Honestly, it hasn't been down to my control. I've been having some PC issues. If you want to help me, check out my Twitter. I've kind of explained it there. But basically, my game seems to... well, my whole PC seems to blue screen after about 10 to 15 minutes of playing F1 2021, and that's the only time it really blue screens. It has been hot in the UK, so I feel like maybe that's part of the problem. I'll post my temperatures on screen now, which shows what they were like not long before a crash. But yeah, I'm pretty stumped. It could be RAM, it could be graphics card, it could be a whole multitude of things. I'm just trying to rule things out one by one, I suppose. But yeah, rather annoying. Anyway, for that reason, there are parts of the video which are missing, and that's because every time I had a PC crash, I would lose all the footage that I had recorded that I didn't complete in OBS. So yeah, it corrupts the files, and there are some bits that are missing. So the video is slightly shorter than usual, so apologies about that. But in other news, our worst fears have been realized in the career mode sense, because we've been overtaken by Haas, and we've also pretty much been overtaken by Williams. So we are the slowest car in Formula 1. Never before has this happened in all my years of making career mode videos. It seems that we're actually going backwards mid-season or during the season, development-wise. We're getting overtaken by those around us. We have been unlucky with failures regarding upgrades coming in, which has halted progress a little bit and pushed things back further. So that's not been helpful. But, you know, as soon as we can get Spec 1, Spec 2 upgrades going, we can get some fabrication stuff going and just reduce the amount of failures we have, then things will quickly turn around. We also have a long way to go in terms of getting money coming in each week. So it'll happen, but we need to get the money, the resources to upgrade the facilities to get the ball rolling faster. But that's going to take time. For now, though, we're just going to struggle with being pretty much the slowest car in F1 for now. But anyway, the way we dig ourselves out of this hole is by doing the work in Friday practice, doing the practice programs, second last in practice 1. For practice 2 and 3, though, we did do the mini practice program game mode thing, but that was all corrupted. So I can't show you how many resource points we brought in, but trust me, I brought in the maximum I could possible. And yeah, just we're back in the menu because we had a crash in between recording sessions. Anyway, it's time for qualifying. That will be shown on screen. Wish me luck. So yeah, apologies about all the issues. There's nothing I can do about it. I will... whoa. Big old storm in the UK going down right now. Literally everything's happening. Everything is trying to stop me from making videos, but I am pressing on for you guys. So hopefully you guys appreciate the effort. It took so long just to get through this, having to record 10-minute blotches at a time. Anyway, it's raining for qualifying 1. So that's another spanner thrown into the works.
Rain is imminent. Rain is imminent. Be careful out there. This rain should be ending shortly. The dry line will come in quickly, so don't waste any time getting back up to speed. We're not certain which is the best tyre right now, dries or inters.
Okay, so because it's raining right now and the track is rubbish, and the fact that it's going to dry up later, we're going to go back into the pit lane, wait out the weather, and go again when the track is a little bit more optimal. We wait till about 6 minutes to go. We're going to go out now. We can see some competitive times getting thrown into the mix. So now we're going to go out there on a brand new set of soft compound tires and lay a marker down. If anything, this might actually help us. We don't have the car that's capable of getting out of qualifying 1 anymore. So we've just got to do what we can. We're going to hope that maybe some people don't go out at the end of the session or do a run when the track is not so great. But as you can tell right now, the track is bone dry. So anyone who does put a time in and has a better car than us will get through to the next session. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But here it is, our fastest lap of qualifying 1. I haven't actually maximized or timed my run perfectly. We've still got 4 minutes to go, and I've only got enough fuel to put in 1 lap here. So yeah, didn't do my best job to manage this session overly well, to be out there right as the track is at its optimal, I suppose. But, you know, 1 or 2 tenths difference in terms of track evolution probably isn't going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things for us, given where our car is sitting on the performance index. There's no way we're getting into Q3, and it's very, very unlikely we're going to get into Q2. But, you know, we're out here. We're going to try. We're not going to give up. We're going to put our best foot forward and try and string together a good lap. You can still see there's quite a bit of understeer in this car, which is something I'm going to hope to dial out with setup, with upgrades as we get deeper into the season. But up to the line, it's a 1 minute 29.8, and that puts us 3rd overall in this session, with all the big guns yet to put their time in.
3 minutes to go.
And there we go, that's a Spinala for us. So that is RIP for our session. We put in a pretty good time relative to where our car sits, and it's last place. Maybe it's not a good time, because we're 8 tenths off our teammate Marcus Armstrong. That is dire. Okay, so with that reckoning, we weren't going to, well, not even beat our teammate if we did a lap right at the end of the session. It would have only given us an extra 2, maybe 3 tenths at maximum. But still, the lap wasn't perfect. I could have improved myself another few tenths, but yeah, I think overall, I think we were destined for last place. So it's going to be a tough race. It will be easier in the race, though, relative to qualifying. Our pace always seems to be better in a race scenario. We'll be able to get in the mix. Strategy is going to come into it as well. We're pretty good racecraft-wise, overtaking on lap 1, so all hope is not lost. But it's looking likely that this French Grand Prix might be a bit of a test session. We'll see. But, yeah, we'll give it our best shot. And if we're really lucky, we might get points.
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking 2 wheels today, we're talking 4, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, and Perez, Vettel, Gasly, Stroll, and Charles Leclerc. They've taken a grid penalty. Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Norris. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, George Russell, and Nikita Mazepin. Mick Schumacher, Latifi, Armstrong, and Benjamin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
What a home race for the team, or the engine supplier's home. All right, Renault, we'll do our best job to showcase how good the power unit is. To be fair, that's the one good thing we have in this car. The car is a bit of a rocket ship in a straight line. But other than that, there's not too much to shout about. Anyway, we'll put on a good show regardless. We've got nothing to lose from P22 on the grid. Last place for Marduk Motorsport. Let's see if we can drag ourselves to the top. With the lights out and away we go. Looks like a bit of a wheel spinny start as we head down into turn 1. Everybody taking the inside line. So we're going to try. Wow, Marcus Armstrong steaming into turn 1. Knocked out a bollard. Didn't knock out some front wing, so he's okay. We try to go around the outside of Nikita Mazepin. It'll turn into the inside for this next right-hander. If we can hold on, he's given us no space. Probably doesn't know we're there, so we had to squeeze ourselves onto the ripple strip. Somehow no warning. And there we go, we're up into 17th place. Nice recovery after all things considered. in the opening few corners. Next up is Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen. They're on the hard compound tyres, so we might be half a chance to cling on to that slipstream and DRS. Here comes Schumacher on the left-hand side. Nothing doing on that occasion. So the fact that the Alphas are on hards means that we can hopefully run with them in this stint, and we can be dragged along by them to keep a better pace and maybe pull away from the bottom 3 teams. But yeah, you know what? That's a pretty depressing thought, isn't it? Trying to get piggybacked along by an Alfa Romeo in a career mode race. A warning there on the first corner chicane. That one was probably deserved after not getting a warning on the first lap. But, you know, there we go. 3 of those, and we'll have ourselves a 3-second time penalty. But, yeah, we're on the medium compound tyres. We've got to look after these tyres, try and run long if we can. And maybe if there's a safety car late on, like I've always said, we always save some soft compound tyres for a late race charge. And with a miracle, we might be able to get some points. So you never want to give up in these kind of races. You want to try and learn as much as you can. There's no pressure on at this phase of the championship. You can see, oh my goodness, getting an uncomfortable amount of bumpage from the curbs on approach to the chicane. That's not going to do the components any good, you'd have to say. But we're going to march on with this race if we can. Lap 4, and it looks like the Alfa Romeos are getting away.
Don't panic just yet, but we've seen a problem at our end. We're looking into it.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's not a good sound, because we managed to get away with this in Baku. We had some kind of fault with the car. Turned out to be nothing, but, you know, you can only chance the odds so many times. I feel like this time we might not be so lucky, especially on such a power track. Looks like we have another radio coming in from Jeff.
It looks critical. Find somewhere to retire as soon as possible. We can't risk you carrying on with this race.
No! Oh, we're out. We have no choice in the matter. We own the team. We own the car. We own everything. I say we carry on, but Jeff and the team say otherwise. We are out of the French Grand Prix. I can't believe it. Over 40 seasons of career modes, and that's the first mechanical retirement that I can remember. Big F. Big F indeed. If anything, we've been put out of our misery.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot. A well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So there we go then. I hope you enjoyed that race. That was an absolute belter from my end. All over in, how many laps was that? 4 laps, I think? We barely got settled into the Grand Prix, and, well, it was looking pretty ominous, wasn't it? I don't know if there was any diminishing performance. I certainly couldn't feel it prior to the failure, but it all just came on so quickly, and we just had to retire to save the components. Hopefully that we haven't done any damage to any of the components that make up the power unit. I guess we'll see once we get the car back into the garage and assess the damage, really, but it's 20 seconds and a DNF. Sergio Perez getting a DNF as well. Marcus Armstrong not having a good race. He got last out of any of the finishers, and some 8 seconds behind the nearest car, that being Latifi. So performance is not great, and like I said, this if anything puts us out of our misery. Maybe by some miracle we've saved wear on our components, but it just means we can fast forward to the next Grand Prix, where hopefully we'll have more upgrades on the car, because we really didn't have anything to show in this race, did we? barely keeping up with an Alfa Romeo on hards. But here's the replay from the new savable replay feature, which is absolutely sick this year, by the way. There's the failure. You can see all the smoke billowing out of the car. That does look pretty ominous, doesn't it? I think we're going to have damage to the engine of some kind, which is a shame, really, because those are all pretty new components. So, yeah, season is not looking good.
Things didn't really go your way today. Let's have your take. It looked like you had a few mechanical hiccups during that race.
Yes, I did, Claire. And by the way, the reason why we're recording the screen is because, well, my PC failed again. Much like the engine. Failures everywhere. I can't believe it. It's also a bit of a throwback to my very, very first videos I used to do, where I used to point my laptop webcam at the screen, and that was the way I did things. So we've come full circle, guys, on the Tiametmarduk channel. And, yeah, it really has been a diabolical day in the world of Marduk Motorsport. The French Grand Prix is a Grand Prix to forget. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. It was only yesterday I said, I can't wait for this to happen in my team. One day later, here we are. And here we are with a dead component. The MGUH is out of here. 99% will never get used again. Thanks for playing F1 2021. Game over. See you next time.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.